Uh, Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hey. Yeah, it's me, Christian from Scream magazine in Norway.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry I couldn't reach you last time. I fucked up, so
Hey, it's alright.
yeah. Let me just get my recorder and press record here and we can start.
Sure.
So you're from the United States or something?
Yep,
Nice. How is it over
that's
there?
right. Yeah, well, in Florida, I live in Florida, so pretty, pretty nice, I think.
Yeah, you don't got any of the hurricanes right now?
Well, not right now. We had to deal with the one last month, of course. So that was, a little scary, a little hairy, but luckily, no major problems stemmed from it. But yeah, pretty intense, when you're having to kind of live through a hurricane.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm glad we don't have those in Norway. Fuck.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, it's I've been down in Florida now for about 24 years, and that was kind of the worst. That was the close call. That was the worst it was ever, meant to be, kind of a thing where we were going to get directly hit, and it could have been a lot worse. So luckily it wasn't. But yeah, you just never know. Yeah, you live in certain places like. If you're in California, you're worried about earthquakes, I guess. You're living in Florida, you're worried about, exactly hurricanes. You're in the Midwest, you're worried about tornadoes. Yeah, so, yeah, it's somewhere like Norway, you're just going to have to deal with some colder temperatures and some snow, but, maybe a rogue moose every now and then, but definitely no hurricanes.
No, definitely not that. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna take much of your time, but we're gonna start the interview now and just try to answer my questions as best you can.
You got it.
Okay. Hey, Paul. It's an honor to talk to you. You've been with the band like forever, I guess. Uh,
That is correct.
yeah. I gave the album 6 out of 6, so I love the album. It's a really great album, and it's just great. But before we go on to the album, can you please tell me something about your past? How was the band founded, if you remember?
Oh, well, yeah, it's been a long time, of course, and I appreciate the comments on the album first off. I mean, thank you. Yeah, we worked hard on this record, and we feel it's some of our best stuff, if not our best material. But yeah, I mean, here we are 30 years into it now, writing our best stuff. But yeah, starting back in the day, I mean, the band originated from Buffalo, New York, and the five original members, exactly, from Buffalo, myself and Alex Webster, the bass player, the two original members left. And but yeah, we started back in December of 1988. Basically, a couple of other bands fell apart that we were in. Myself and the original singer and original guitar player and all that. We were in a couple bands in Buffalo, and we merged forces, and Cannibal Corpse was born basically at like I said, the end of 1988, December of '88. So yeah, right, next year technically we're going on our 30th anniversary, but yeah, that's basically all it was. A bunch of guys, kids getting together, wanting to play music that we love, and help form a genre, I guess, at that point, being from the mid 80s, to the late 80s, when we were just riding this wave of craziness with the music and discovering who we are as a band and what we want to be, and kind of evolving into death metal and that forming, all that, craziness. But yeah, that was all the late 80s up in Buffalo, New York.
Yeah, Jesus. What kind of other genres did you play in your former bands, if you remember? Did you play death metal
Well,
there as well, or was it something else?
Well, like I said, we were kind of in the mid '80s. There really isn't death metal yet, I mean, obviously we're into the heavy thrash, and maybe some of the crossover stuff. Like you're into DRI and some punk crazy bands like that, hardcore bands that have some speed. But for the most part, it was. We're just, like I said, riding this wave of we're creating music, and as we're going here. Like, when I started playing drums, like in '86, well, yeah, I want to emulate the bands that I'm into at this time, and my influences being Slayer and Dark Angel and Creator and all that, and those were the heavy bands, and that's not really death metal at that point, of course. But yeah, so we were just playing, stuff like that, anywhere from regular heavy metal because that's what was in us as well. From Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, all the metal bands. And then, like I said, it just took off from there, where Metallica comes into play and Slayer, and then we're teenagers and we want to create as well, and so our first bands were they were heavy, more maybe thrashy, because like I said, there really wasn't death metal at that point. But yeah, we rode the wave, and like I'm saying, Cannibal was kind of created and formed right around that cusp there when death metal was starting to be formed. You already had like Morbid Angel out, and Death and things like that, and Obituary comes out, so you got the formations of it, and we were just around that edge there. So and that kind of helped us out and pushed us to what Cannibal was going to be formed into. Because yeah, if you listen to our first demo, for instance, I mean, that was done in not too long after the band was formed, and not too long before our first album was put out, and our vocal style changed a little bit because it was more of a thrash style. That's what we were into. So, and
Yeah.
then you can see how quick things change, how influences change you, or music. And on our first album, it was more of a death metal album. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, a lot changed within just a short amount of time, within months, at that back then. So, yeah, kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm sort of glad that you decided to change from whatever style you had to. Well, you helped create the genre of death metal. I would actually say you're kings of death metal as it stands now with this album. It's just amazing. Uh,
Yeah. Well, thank you, man.
yeah. Uh, but can I just ask, what made you want to create something a little bit more brutal than, let's say, okay, a bad example probably for you, but let's say Metallica. What made you want to make something more brutal than Metallica, for example?
Well, it's like Slayer. I mean, because they just kind of went up in that ladder. When you look back, how all that formation happened, like I was just saying, when in 1980, what am I listening to? What is out there in 1980? Well, it's going to be, like I said, basic heavy metal. You got your bands, maybe like you said, Judas Priest, and you can hear Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden and things like that, where you're just starting to get into that because of the age you are too. But no, there is no death metal at that point. Barely any like thrash going on in 1980, right? So what happens is a band like Metallica changes everything exactly, and not when you get the Kill 'Em All comes out, and it's just a game changer where it's taking music, heavy metal to just a whole nother dimension here.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah,
like, and then I remember, you remember the people you were say hanging around with your friends when that all happened. It was either you were in and you wanted that heaviness and you wanted it and you loved it, or it was too much. It was too much for you, and that's not for you. And you're happy with your Black Sabbath and your Iron Maiden and your Judas Priest and your rock bands and all that kind of stuff. So it was a band like Metallica that goes, wow, this is taking it to this other level, and we're interested. This is, it's piquing your interest. You're just like freaking out a little bit. What the heck's going on here? This is crazy. I love this. And then, like I said, then what happens? You get a band like Slayer comes out that takes it kind of to the next level. And we're like, whoa. So I'll never forget hearing Rain and Blood for the very first time. And of course, we were into Slayer at that point. Had all the albums. Well, only Show No Mercy and what the EP and Hell Awaits were out, but we loved Slayer. And then, man, when you heard Rain and Blood, when I remember buying it the day it came out, putting it in my cassette car in my car, and
yeah,
listening to that, and I was
yeah,
blown away.
yeah,
Like the whole album, the drumming, it was just, this is how I want to play now. This is my blueprint. This is what I want to try to do. Is right here. That's
yeah,
how obviously how influential it was on so many people. But definitely hit me hard, and and there you go. That it was kind of that was it. That was like the last kind of stepping stone of going. Well, this is now I know what I want to do, and this is how I'm going to play and what I'm going to try to do and things like that. So yeah, that's what it was. It was just our love of wanting to get faster, love of the speed and the just the heaviness and But yeah, it was all those things that was what we were attracted to and then yes, when we're in a band, then yeah, and that's how death metal, of course, was formed. The blast beat, where you're taking this grindcore beat and then you're just making death metal even crazier, and then and what's
Yeah.
that? Now it's whatever. But yeah, I mean, yeah, crazy when you look back and you see how it all just came together like that. Very interesting.
Yeah, well, I've heard crazy death metal, but that's not good music. Yeah, I think you got sort of a groove to your sound, and that makes your music so fucking epic. This album is just it's unbelievable. So
Well, cool, man. Well, that's what we feel. We're not trying to be the fastest band. We just be us, and we try to write good songs. We always have. I mean, amidst the craziness, right? We're really always trying to write a good song. And I think we hit the nail on the head, like you're saying. You're talking about the new record, and we are too. I'm really excited and happy. Can't wait for the fans to really hear it. We're hearing so much great stuff about it. All the interviews I've been doing. I mean, everybody like yourself is really blown away by it. And thinking just exactly we've hit the nail on the head and took it to another level and just came up with some great songs here that are just catchy and groovy and brutal and all things Cannibal. So
yeah,
yeah,
we got
so it's
a we
awesome.
got a band here in Norway called Satan Pukers, and they're sort of like the fastest and the most evil band ever. But it's not good music, so
Yeah.
that's the bottom line. They can be as evil as they want, but it's not good music. So
Yeah, well, that's the way we always looked at it. That's why Cannibal has always been about the music. We
yeah,
never, if anybody knows us, we don't go out there. We're not putting on some lavish show on our stage. Nothing. We go up and play. That's it. It's about the music. And it's about writing and a good song. That's what's important to us. Exactly, writing the music and making that music just good and catchy and brutal and all those things. And that's I think why we've had a career for 30 years and we're still going strong because we love to do it. We it's from the heart. When we create and when we're up there and people know that the fans hear it and they exactly have views like you're just saying.
yeah.
So that's awesome.
I'm probably going a little bit off my questions there, but it's epic talking to you, so that's why. But I'm gonna continue now with my questions. Cannibal Corpse has been around for decades, man. But what are you most proud of as a member of the band? You've been around since the band started, so what are you most proud of? If you can name one or two things, probably.
Yeah, I mean, really, just the longevity of the band. I mean, who would have ever thought we'd be around 30 years, let alone a couple of years, I mean, we never ever looked farther than the immediate back then. And yeah, so I would say that is, what an accomplishment. How can you not be just thrilled about just being a band for 30 years? And like I said, just about to put out our best record and still be relevant and people into us, all that kind of stuff. We're an institution. I mean, that's it's incredible.
Yeah. Do you have any regrets though?
No, I mean, this is what we wanted to do. And I remember, like I said, you look back at the old days, and this is exactly what you wanted. This is it. This is what you wanted to do. This is what I wanted. We wanted to play brutal, heavy death metal, and and we did it. And we did it our own way. Here we are, and same thing. 30 years in, well, we did it our own way. We did it by being a death metal band.
Yeah.
And we're bigger than we ever have been, obviously, and death metal is. So
You're
I would
kings of
say,
death metal. You're kings of death metal,
yeah.
no
How
doubt
yeah,
about
how, how could we have any regrets?
it. Yeah. Could you please tell me one of your best experiences with the band and one of the worst experiences? Probably a live experience or anything, or
Yeah, I mean, so many. I mean, just those firsts, of course, are always going to be the most special, I guess. When you first, go to Europe, right, go on tour, or you first go to the studio for the first time to record. All those things are amazing, just because they haven't happened before.
yeah,
So, but then of course, like on stage playing into somewhere like Wacken when you're in front of that many people, it's just like it's insane. Thinking like, yeah, here I am, a guy from Buffalo playing some crazy death metal and playing in front of 80,000 people. This is nuts. So that, but at the
yeah,
same time, it's obviously very very cool. So But yeah, I mean, not luckily not too much on the negative side. I mean,
Yeah.
the worst thing that happened, I guess, back, and I always talk about it. It's probably, I guess, yeah, 20 years ago, past longer than that. Barnes was still in the band, our original singer, where I got stabbed basically with a key in after a show in Enschede, Holland.
A key? What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah, there was to make a long story short, basically there was these drunken hoodlums coming through the town after our show. It was the second show of the tour. We were playing with a few bands sharing the bus, and then they started fighting with a couple of guys, and we all run out there. Before you know it, it was just like, what the heck's going on? And I just was an innocent bystander the whole time. All I do is look up, and some guy's lunging at me, and I get hit in the side, and I feel this burning, like, oh man. And I go, great, I'm dead. I got stabbed. I see blood. I see blood coming down my, abdomen here and my side, and
Jesus.
but for that split second, right? I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Yeah, it hurts. Did I get stabbed? Am I going to keel over in 2 seconds and die? Well, luckily that didn't happen. So, like I said, come to find out, I had to go to the hospital, all this and everything. Come to find out, they deemed it. The guy had a key, like keys in his fist, and like punched me, and it just made a little hole there. So luckily it didn't. Like I said, if it was a knife or something, I'm sure, yeah, I would have been dead.
Yeah, it was
But
lucky it was a key then.
exactly. So overall, it was very lucky. But man,
Yeah.
what a way to start the tour. Like I said, second show, this is happening. I gotta play. I gotta, climb into my bunk. It was so uncomfortable. Obviously, I'm in a little bit of pain. But
Yeah.
I remember making through the whole tour, and it all worked out. But that was probably one of the worst experiences ever. That's not fun. Getting stabbed with keys.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the label, Metal Blade Records. Could you tell me a little about that? How is your relationship with them?
Well, great. We've been on them for our whole career. So, I mean,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. Why, if it's not broke, why fix it, kind of a thing. And we've got a great relation with them, and we're very good friends with them at this point, of course. So
Yeah.
it's just yeah, it's been awesome. Got no complaints.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Well, thanks.
Red Before Black. I got a couple of days, but could you explain the album title?
Well, it's very simple. I mean, it seems like it might have a little more meaning, but it really means seeing blood before you die, the red before black, just symbolizing those two things. So, but I just felt it was very effective and just kind of different, and having basic, the usage of these two colors representing blood, representing death. I just because I'm the one that actually came up with the title. But
Yeah.
but I just
Congratulations. It's a great title. It's a great
well,
title,
thank
man.
you. Well, thank you. Yeah, it actually woke me up in the middle of the night too when I was, we were brainstorming for ideas for songs and song titles, all that kind of stuff that we're doing in the whole process. And I remember it kind of jolting me up in the middle of the night, like just something was nagging in it, and this phrase was in my head, and I wrote it down and told it to Pat the next day at practice, and he was, oh man, that's good. Yeah. And so we ended up using it. But yeah, I think I like
Yeah.
it, so I'm glad you like it too. I think it's just something different, and like I said, cool usage of the colors like that. So.
Yeah. I thought of it more of like a genre versus genre sort of a thing. So death metal versus black metal. I thought of it more like that, but
Well, we're not like that. I mean, if you know
uh,
us and we're Cannibal Corpse, we're all about horror and gore, and we're not going to be competitive. We're not going to be ever doing political, religious. We're not going to talk about other bands. So it's just exactly as plain and simple as seeing blood before you die.
yeah,
Cannibal Corpse, seeing blood before you die.
awesome. It's simple but really effective. So a really good
Yeah,
album title once again.
cool.
Uh, was it a hard album to record?
Not for me. I mean, you just prep. It's all in the prep. I mean, I think over years now, you kind of know what you need to do. We've been doing it for 30 years. How many albums are 14th? We've been in the studio a few times. So I think I don't know. I worked harder than I ever worked on a record. We've always worked hard, but for some reason or another, I don't know, just kind of like you pushed into some extra gear of just pushing it to the next level. So I wanted to be as prepared as I can be to not waste time, to just go in, do what I need to get done, and so it was all in the prep work, that's the hard part, of course. And then once you're in the studio, you're just knocking it out. And
Yeah.
so I would say the studio experience was as smooth as can be for me, and overall for everybody and for the record, because like I said, if you put the prep in, then the studio, you're going to have your little things that happen. That's just the way it goes, here and there. You could have technical issues. You could have this happens to a guitar, whatever, but if you're prepared with the material as best as you can be, well, then obviously that's going to make your process that much easier. So.
Yeah, awesome. And I gotta ask, who draws your awesome covers? And this cover is just amazingly cool. It's
Oh,
epic stuff.
cool. Well, Vincent Locke, he's been doing our covers since the beginning. He started doing a comic back in the late '80s, early '90s called Dead World Comics. He's out of I think he's living in Michigan, outside of Detroit. But we contacted him back in the day when we saw these comics, and wanted him to do our artwork because we were that happy with what we saw. And he said yeah, and he's been with us ever since. So we just work in conjunction with him. If we have ideas, which I pretty much had an idea of what we wanted to do, and I kind of just talk with him and give them our, like I said, ideas and let them go with it, and we'll get a piece that everybody's happy with. So that's basically what we do. So yeah, Vincent Locke, his name is.
Yeah. Say hi to him and say that it's awesome if you get the chance.
Yeah, I will.
Nice. Uh, I'm almost done here. Just a couple of more questions, and then
No
I'll let you
problem.
go. Many famous bands, like huge bands, don't mix their albums or master their albums well. I think many albums sound like they're produced on a PC, and the sound sampled, to be honest. But your album sounds very organic and it's very dynamic in the sound. So I gotta ask, who mixed and mastered your album?
Well, I mean, cool that you noticed that. We were really going for that. We were trying to get as heavy as of a guitar sound as possible, just to kind of stick out, to have our own identity, And
Yeah,
Pat really worked. Our guitar player worked really good in conjunction with our producer. But it was Eric Rutan who at Mana Recording here in outside of Tampa, Florida, who produced it and engineered. And then I can't remember who mastered it. Alan Duches, maybe. I can't remember who actually mastered it, but there's a couple of guys that we had two guys helping out mastering, but I can't remember who ended up being the final mastered product. So unfortunately, I don't know that offhand. But really, the main work and obviously the bulk of being there every day and doing this was Eric Rutan. He was the guy.
yeah, awesome. Because most people, when they get their albums mastered, get their highest frequencies too loud, so you can't turn the album real loud, because then you hurt your ears. But this album, I've listened to this a lot, and it's a lot of bass, and it's a really good sound. So epic stuff
Cool.
once again.
Cool. Well, we worked hard on that too. That's
Yeah,
where, like I said, in the studio process, well, usually it's pretty smooth, but there you go. The mastering, exactly. You got the mix going great, and then you can mastering could lose it, make it, break it, all those kind of things. So
yeah.
we had to be careful with the mastering, and actually we did go back and forth for a little while here just to make sure we got the mastering correct, as opposed to just, having one or two test masters and then just going with it. No, we spent some time on it, actually. Maybe a little more than we needed to, but yeah, I think in the end it was worth it.
Yeah, it was. And last but not least, man, I gotta ask you, for our Norwegian readers on Scream, when can we see the album in our Norwegian stores? And do you have any plans for a tour here in Norway?
Yeah, we it should be out the same time it's out worldwide, which is November 3rd, 2nd or 3rd, I believe. I think it's the 3rd, which is a Friday. I think albums are coming out on Friday now, instead of Tuesdays. But yeah, so it's November, whatever Friday is, November 3rd, whatever you said. If that's a Friday, it's the 3rd. And it should be just worldwide at that point, everywhere. And we're touring, of course, for the record. We're doing a U.S. tour first, and that'll be right when the album comes out in a couple of weeks. and we will be in Europe throughout February and March actually. And I know we are playing. I believe the only Norway show we have this time is Oslo. I'm pretty sure, and I think that's in the kind of early on in the beginning of the tour. So it would be somewhere. I'm thinking about the second week in February or so. Like I said, offhand, I can't really remember the date, but yeah, well, we have one show up in Norway, and we have great Norwegian fans. We've been up there quite a bit. Last couple of times we've been up there, we've actually we're very fortunate to be up in Norway for playing not just Oslo, playing a couple of other cities. What I think Trondheim is that another city?
Yeah, that's where I'm from. That's where I'm sitting right
Okay.
now. So
Yeah, we've played there. We've played a couple other cities in Norway, and we've been there at such beautiful times. We got lucky with the weather. Just I remember the last one time we were there a couple of years ago. It was just amazing. We had beautiful weather and just an incredible country to be in. But like unfortunately, like I said, only one show this next time around. But at least we'll be coming back. So.
yeah, awesome. Well, I myself, I'm a CD buff, so I hate Spotify and all those streaming sites. So I'll be looking forward to your album.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, my wife won't let me have LPs, so I gotta buy the CD.
Hey, well, at least you got the physical copy in some way, right?
Yeah,
So
it's much better
that's
to have the album and have the art cover and have the whole
uh,
product in your hand instead of just listening to it on Spotify. It sounds
right,
much
of
better as
course.
well. So
Yeah, well, I think at least a lot of people, regardless of right, a lot of the vinyl, it's still going to be a little. You never know. People are going to still talk about it's better, and either way, as long as I think metal fans want the physical copy, whether it's the CD or the album, just to have the artwork, to have the lyrics, that's just what metal is about. It's very metal to have that, as opposed to just downloading your music or just streaming it. So that's good. That's what helps us, keep selling some records and keep it going. So good.
yeah, and between you and me, I missed the cassette a little bit, but that's off topic as well. So
The good thing about it, I think we had some bundles on this for this CD for this release where we are actually going to have a cassette. So
no, you're kidding,
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, yeah. I believe we are going to release a cassette, which has been a few years. Yeah, having a cassette. So that's yeah, exactly. Some cassette buffs for like yourself out there. So there you
Yeah. Well, I can't thank you enough, man. It's been an honor and a pleasure talking to you, and you seem like a really nice guy. So thank you very much for your time, and sorry about missing out on our first appointment.
no problem, not at all. I'm glad we finally got to talk, and thank you very much for the interview. I appreciate it, and yeah, and all the kind words about the record. And awesome, man. And thank you.
Do you want me to send you a translated version of the review, or
Yeah, or you can send it to I don't know who you contact with Andreas or
I can send it to Andreas? No problem.
yeah, just do that. Yeah. So,
Yeah. Okay.
alrighty.
Thank you very
Okay.
much again. Have a nice
All
day.
right. You're welcome. Yeah. Thank you. You too.
Take care. Bye bye.
All right. Bye bye.